This year I've taken part in both Peachtober and Inktober. It's a lot. Why don't we have a sketchbook tour and go through all 62 pieces of art together? See what's changed now that it's all completed. You would not believe how much the camera is zoomed in. It looks so silly. But first up, we're starting on this tiny little sketchbook. And I always like to start art challenges in the same way, with a cute little title page. This is negative space, and I think it fits the theme of Peachtober very well. If you don't know, Peachtober is like Inktober. It's a month-long art challenge, and the prompts were created by Furry Little Peach, who is here on YouTube. I absolutely love her channel. Decided not to write the prompts on this tiny little page because it's just so small. And the first is Acorn. This year for Peachtober and Inktober, I wanted to only use inks. I don't have very much experience with inks. I actually picked up tons from a Facebook Marketplace haul, and I wanted to learn how to use them. Acorn was supposed to be monochrome, but I forgot. So we've got pinks and greens. It's kind of cute. It's just an acorn that has like a tree coming out of it. I guess it's kind of like life. And then the second prompt is kite. Very simple. I wanted to practice making blooms and trying to make these really pretty things happen in water, trying to control it. So not a lot of effort went into the actual kite. I think you can see. A little bit of negative space, but that's about it. Then we have slug. This piece is actually an homage to this, what we made before for Peachtober, where the prompt was grub. There's like a little mini version. Honestly, I was really struggling to come up with a way to make slugs cute, so a pattern was the only way. Number 4 is gingham. Ooh, this one went a little bit wrong. So I actually ended up reaching for neo colors because you can see it just wasn't going light enough. So the neo color is there for a little bit of texture, a little bit of highlight. This is the only one out of all 62 that used a different medium. Yeah, couldn't come up with any other ideas. Number 5 is poppy. I think this one turned out quite cute. It's negative space, but with a slightly different color background, quite muted purple. I like it. And then each section has a different pattern. I like the idea. I like the concept. And a great thing about art challenges is that you can try something different and see if it's something you want to explore in future. So this style is something we could explore in the Daily Doodle Diary, or to create this book, or even make an original piece. The options are endless, really. And then we have number 6 is ring. I painted a little old telephone. To be honest, I just didn't know how an actual ring on a finger could look cute, but how do you make it a piece? How do you make it a little square piece, especially working this size? Oh, I didn't mention, we completed Peachtober in 24 hours. This entire art challenge, all 31 prompts were completed in 24 hours. The challenge is this one. I've left it down below if you want to check it out. So not only are we working very small, we also have a time limit. Number 7 is strawberry. Just made a cute little pattern. I think this might look cute as like a phone wallpaper. That was kind of the inspiration. When I think of patterns, I for some reason think of phone wallpapers. If you want to get any phone wallpapers of mine, you could join my Patreon. A big thank you to all of the sketchbook buddies, with a special thank you to our newest member, Alice, who is getting a cute little Dalmatian to join the Patreon tree. Honestly, one of the cutest dogs out there. You know what, why didn't I just give you a phone wallpaper? At the time you're seeing this video, patterned phone wallpaper has just gone up. I really like making them. Just like these little strawberries. Number 8 is leaf. I think the little leaves ruin it, and I also think the colors are a bit too bright. It almost actually needs a brown to make the green pop more, because it's all very bright. All right, moving on to number 9, which is rope. This is a very unique color, and I actually really like it. It's an orange brown, kind of looks like something else, and it's an anchor with a rope, negative space, some random stars. The stars are a little bit fuzzy. They kind of separated a little bit. Maybe I should have avoided them, or maybe something like spots would have been better. The problem is, especially the Winsor & Newton inks, they kind of reactivate if you pop something on top of it, and also they do often go through the page. That's why this entire challenge is on the right side. I mean, there's been like a couple of accidents already. It goes through the handmade paper like anything. You'll see that later on. No. Number 10 is Critter. It's a little squirrel, went a little bit crazy on the white gel pen. It's too much. Unfortunately, the colors are also very similar. Didn't really think ahead. I think at this point we just reached in the box and grabbed a color. Unfortunately, it looks quite similar to the last one, which means it just doesn't pop as much when you're looking at it in a sketchbook. Number 11. Okay, the prompt is seagull. I wanted a really simple one. I was hoping we could drop inks and get a really beautiful background, but that didn't really happen. There's harsh edges, there's weird blooms. I think as well, because the paper is so small, the ink just separated and covered the entire thing. Like, we don't really have bright white highlights in areas where it didn't have ink dropped. It just spread. And the seagulls didn't really work either. That one there is kind of cute. These ones just went wrong. I'm not great with a dip pen. Number 12 is bark. Unfortunately, it all got reactivated. Later on, I went a little bit close to the spine and it did all of this. It's so sad. I like the idea for this. This is something I actually explored even more in the Inktober piece that you'll see in a moment. And I also did it previously for Peachtober. We made this piece for Wheel, and if you want to see any of the previous challenges, I'll leave the playlist down below. I really like the concept, and doing it in a square sketchbook, it just felt right. Yeah, I like it. It's simple, but it's a fun style. 13 is marble. It's a marble vase with like those little twig things in it, you know, like the fake sticks, those. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like marble, doesn't look like a vase, and doesn't really look like sticks. The marble is sort of around the outside. That's what I was going for here. Kind of matches the nails. That's cute. I did water marbling in the Create This book. Used nail polish. We created this piece, and we also created this piece. Like, this looks like marble. It probably would have worked. Apparently, it works for ink as well. I've heard maybe like acrylic ink, you can do the same thing, or maybe it's alcohol. The other one I don't have. I'm not sure, but I kind of want to try it again. Like, it was fun. Got through quite a lot of nail polish, but we could try the ink version. Moving on to number 14, brush. Yeah, I didn't have a good idea for this. It's a paintbrush falling over onto paper and just painting it. It's a weak idea. I quite like what the ink has done here. It looked prettier when it was wet. It hasn't dried very well. The thing is, if you don't have a good idea to start with, it's probably not going to go well. That's what happened. Number 15 is aquarium. I actually really like this one. I love the orange color. I think this is the flame orange acrylic ink. I really like it. Oh, I've actually done something similar before. I did this piece for a previous Inktober. I think the prompt was heist. And I'm kind of realizing that this is probably why I did it this way. Not doing the background negative space, just doing the goldfish in the tank kind of negative space. There's so many bubbles there. There are so many bubbles. The fish can't move. It's crazy. I want to use more orange in my works. That's what I found out from this challenge. Speaking of, number 16 is hatch. This is again some of that leftover orange. We got a bit of yellow in there, and the pink in the background is a little chick. Mostly wet on wet, which I really like. I think it's kind of cute. Trying to go for things that I don't normally draw for these challenges, and this is definitely one of them. Number 17 is whistle. This is a little conch shell. The background is very messy, but I like the idea. I like that it is pink to purple and it kind of goes into a gradient diagonal, but then the negative space is on top. The shell is negative space with patterns in each area. Again, a little bit like the poppy actually. It's a bit messy, but it's a cool concept. And to be honest, I think I want to explore this more. I really like it. Number 18 is toad. Had to add little arms and legs to each of them so they don't look, you know, like something else. We got a big mushroom, a smaller mushroom, and a tiny mushroom. They're kind of cute. These eyes are a bit too realistic. It kind of looks scary. Number 19 is melon. I like this pink and mint green combo. I think they're really pretty together. Unfortunately, I don't really like the rest. The background is patchy. I tried to make it look a bit like a sticker, but that didn't really work. But the watermelon is kind of cute. And then there's like a melon and a lemon. Number 20, truck. So it's the front of the truck, but we're kind of missing the back. I felt like a bit more color was needed. So there's a lovely warm yellow. This mark had to be covered up. It didn't really get covered up, but I tried. Yeah, I was very tired at this point. Number 21 is snowflake. Again, tried to do the same as seagull. Well, better than seagull. I like the blooms, I do like them. I think they're really pretty. Unfortunately, there's a bit too much ink there. And this bit here, this bit went so bad. I don't really know what happened. I made a mistake and then I tried to cover it and it looks so weird. Oh, okay, 22 is web. I like this one. I had to add the frame to cover up this mess. This frame was planned. This bit here, I didn't realize the two of them blended. Oh yeah, this is a different color. This came from a different piece like later on. Yeah, they were separate when I made this. I don't know what happened there. I like the concept. That might be something to explore in future. Really, we're just creating silly little concepts at this point. 23 is paper. Similar to brush, they are quite similar prompts. This one was a bad idea, but it kind of pulled itself together. The blooms are really pretty. I like the little bit of line work here as well. It's just a paintbrush with a bunch of paint. It kind of worked. It worked so much better than I thought. I did not have high hopes. Number 24 and 25 go together. First, we've got spots. Did a little duck with some flowers, leaves, little fruit in the background. It's negative space. Unfortunately, this yellow part here is the only part that shows as yellow. The rest of it just kind of looks red. I had the idea of placing a duck in different environments, it looking a little bit spotty, because like at a distance, flowers would probably look quite round, fruit and leaves, and they would just look like shapes. That's kind of where the idea came from. So for 25 stripes, it's the duck looking up in the middle of a forest. So it's kind of the forest trees around it, and so that's kind of where stripes comes in. Like the idea, it's kind of like looking for spots and stripes in an environment like naturally, as opposed to going for the obvious, because otherwise I probably would have just put spots on like a blanket. Forcing myself to be creative. 26 is bear. So we have a little teddy bear in an environment like a real bear, perched up next to a tree, life size. Very kind of scary, kind of cute. 27 is axe. I really like this one. The pink is like neon. We've got an axe in like a little rock, kind of like the sword in the stone, kind of like that, with a frame, with another frame, with a frame. I think this frame was added because there was a little bit of a mark there. Some stars. The frame is interesting. I haven't done anything with these shapes before. I really like it. I think it's a cool way to stylize a piece rather than just drawing the thing. I'm kind of trying to stylize more. I think you can tell. 28 is button. I used watercolor inks and it all reactivated. Added the line work first and then tried to pop some more on top, and yeah, it all reactivated, but I kind of like it. Like, it's very messy. And then 29 is sour. This one didn't quite go to plan. I thought it was a cute idea and it just didn't really go as well. Honestly, I would say it's because the yellow is flat. Maybe if the yellow was like yellow and orange, then it would have had more dimension. Also, the green is flat too. You can tell it's just one flat wash on top of another. That was kind of the look I was going for, but I think it actually would have been better with different colors in both layers. I like the idea though, the fact that everything is contained in this area. Could be something to explore further. Number 30 is whisker. This is negative space. Course, it's a kitty cat. We've got a lovely background underneath. There's lots of colors. It was kind of really sad to cover it up. That's my biggest problem with doing a lovely layer of colors and then negative space on top, is you have to cover it all up and it's kind of painful. Like, this is pretty. Look at those blooms, and they all got covered up. It's a silly idea, but I had fun with this one. Number 31 is ghost. Unfortunately, I accidentally used two different colors there. This was supposed to be monochrome. It's like a little postage stamp. I've never done art that's like a postage stamp, you know, like those pieces you see. So I wanted to pop a little ghosty on one. I like that the little face is white, and I also like this weird background. I don't know what this is around the frame. I like it. I kind of went with it. So yeah, I completed Peachtober in 15 hours. All of those pieces, I think it's only possible because it's such a small sketchbook. There's no way you could do that in a bigger sketchbook. Working this small has its limitations. You can't do that many layers, you can't add that many details. The paper isn't great, and there's no point adding a ton of details because you're working so quickly that it's not drying properly and kind of making a mess. But there are some concept ideas in here that I really like and I would like to explore further. So I think it was a success. Also, a really good introduction to inks. And now we move on to the big one. This is the sketchbook that I used previously, not last year, but the year before. In 2023 for Peachtober, made all of these pieces. That sketchbook tour is also in the playlist down below if you want to check that out. Title page, dropped various pieces of ink in, and unfortunately it pulled and they're all blended together. It's like orange, blue, pink, so it blended together and made brown. Not off to a great start, but you know what, it's different paper, you got to get used to it. This is actually 100% cotton handmade paper. Peachtober doesn't have in the slightest, so there's a lot to learn. After the title page, I did actually make a prompt list. Kind of didn't plan it in the slightest, so this bit here is huge. And also the ink dried a lot faster than I was expecting. We're learning. The very first prompt is mustache. Not a great start. I think out of every single art challenge I've ever done, this is probably the weakest start. Mermaid, we made this piece, absolutely love it. Last Peachtober, started on this one, which is pretty cute. And before that, we started here. I actually came back to it, added the spirals afterwards, after I'd done the next one. Number 2 is weave. It's like a window behind and there's a dream catcher. There was supposed to be a landscape in the window. The theme for the first week is monochrome. We have green. Hard to make the sky green. Like, it doesn't look like sky. And also I loved all of these blooms, so I ended up leaving it. I like the viridian, but I'm not sure the other green goes with it. I think it's like olive or something. Oh, look at all these blooms though. Ink is so pretty in water. Number 3 is crown. I wanted to draw Cinderella. It wasn't supposed to be in my art style, it just happened. So she has slightly bigger eyes and it's layered in the way that I normally do portraits. The crown isn't super accurate considering that's the name of the prompt. Honestly, I wasn't sure if I layered it too much because we lost a lot of the lovely blooms that were underneath. Number 4 is murky. This one didn't really go to plan. It was supposed to be a loose wet on wet layer. The mist is blurry, the mountains are blurry, everything's blurry. And unfortunately that just didn't look good. So I ended up adding a second layer to make the mountains separate because they all kind of blended together. Then I went for a walk, came back and decided I think we need the dip pen on top. Some lines to show it's water and also some trees. It saved the piece. Still, it wasn't what I had in mind. Number 5 is deer. This is actually a redraw from last year. I actually drew 2. I did this piece using only black India ink and I wasn't a fan of the way that it doesn't really have dimension. It's all very flat. It's supposed to be a baby deer and the parent, but it doesn't blend into the background at all, which was what I was going for at the time, and then I painted it and I just wasn't keen on it. So in the redraw, the baby is all grown up, a lovely purple and pink. The line work was originally just dip pen, but after wetting the background, blending the feet in this time, I felt like it was missing something. So I just used a paintbrush and added a slightly lighter line around it, and I really like it. It looks a bit like a sticker, the way that it's slightly lighter. Is this what it's like having a small business? Like everything looks like stickers now. I gotta get away from it. Like it's all wet on wet, but you can tell they're separate layers and that's kind of why there's a bit of contrast. And if you are new to the channel, why don't you subscribe? Please come join. Every single week there's 2 new videos uploaded, so I'm not going anywhere. Oh, next is the big one. Number 6, Pierce. This is my favorite from the entire challenge. I wet the entire portrait, dropped some ink in, tried to really control it, and in my opinion I think it went really well. We managed to keep a lot of the highlight areas. That's what I was afraid of. I was afraid that we were going to kind of cover all of it. We've still got some lovely highlights. Got the piercings too. I want to make it a sticker, but like a hand cut sticker as opposed to the mystery minis. Inktober might be turned into a mystery mini series. Let me know if you'd be interested in that. With the mystery minis, you basically get 2 little stickers at random. So for Inktober, it could be any 2 from Inktober. Probably won't be all of them. We won't include mustache, it'll just be the favorites. Oh, it's exciting. We've got an end of year sale happening right now. The next shop update will be next year though. Okay, 27 is starfish. This was created quickly. The idea was to just make a mess. Wet on wet, have some lovely blooms. Kind of looks like a proper mess. It doesn't look like a controlled mess, which was what I was going for. I kind of like it. I don't mind because I really liked Pierce. So I was like, at this point, I was just like, yeah, sure, fine. And starting the second week with Reckless. How difficult is this prompt? This prompt is so difficult. I had no idea. We've got a person walking on a tightrope. The head is huge. I guess the hair is part of that. Yeah, it's not great. I'm not the best at silhouettes, okay? It's supposed to be clouds. That's kind of why I added these shapes on top. And it probably wasn't looking like clouds because there's neon pink and yellow. These probably should have been watered down first. Number 9 is Heavy. This is one of my favorites as well. This is where bark gets adapted into this one. I love all of the water blooms. It didn't work perfectly. Bark didn't have very many separate layers, but the elephant kind of has separate layers in the same piece. So if the background isn't colored, the ear and the face are separate because they're so far apart. So really this probably should have been a 3-color piece. Ended up just layering it a little bit more pink, a little bit more orange. Same with the trunk, obviously being separate to the body, and really like the leg is further back as well. It wasn't the smartest idea because also we have spirals and spirals touch each other, but they're in the same layer. But there wasn't a lot of thought that went into it. Like logically, it doesn't make sense. Number 10 is Sweep. We've got a tree in the wind. That's the idea. It's wet on wet, but then I added a bit of dry brushing because I felt like it needed a bit more texture. I do like that it looks a bit fuzzy because it was all a wet on wet layer. I wanted a nice loose one in between because 11 is Sting. I tried to paint the sword from The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. Unfortunately, it's like so small, it looks like a little dagger. It's kind of cute. I tried to make it as accurate as I could, but it was really tricky because this is handmade paper. The ink separates. Acrylic ink and Indie ink is the only ink that doesn't really separate, but even then I had the dip pen underneath and it still didn't look good. The frame is cute and I like the color palette. 12 is Shredded. Didn't want to draw a human, so here we are with some shredded meat in a baguette. Probably should have added a bit more line work to this because the baguette is kind of fuzzing, it's like blending out. I really like the colors here, the way that these have all bloomed. A drink overhead, you know how impossible that is? Because it's just a blob of color. I will say though, I really like the striped background. It was difficult, it wasn't enjoyable, but it looks really cool because this is transparent. It couldn't just go on top. And then for 13 we have Drink. This might have been the fastest in the entire challenge. It's 1 layer, 1 color, negative space but in a shape, and it was quick too. The second week is all about learning to stylize, so that's why you can see lots of crazy stuff happening. Just trying to see what I can do with the inks rather than just drawing the prompt, even though we are just drawing the prompt. Like, how do we make it interesting? The final prompt of week 2 is Trunk. This is again negative space, but it's done in an interesting way because we wet in sections up here and gradually add in the ink, working all the way around. So the tree trunk and the tree is negative space, but all of the rest has these lovely blooms in color and all sorts. I think the lines don't really work. I like how chaotic it is. And on to week 3. 15 is Ragged. We have a ragged coastline. I googled it. I would not have come up with this otherwise. This area here, what the ink has done is crazy. There's no way I could recreate it exactly, so I left it like that. Again, the ink is doing some pretty crazy stuff here too. Went with it, just left it like that because these patterns are mad. I don't really know what happened. The theme for week 3 is random colors. Got very lucky with blue, and pink I would not have thought of. 16 is Blunder. I'm realizing this might be sad. I came up with the idea and I didn't realize until afterwards. It's a chessboard looped around. The person is the king in the middle and very upset because I guess they made a blunder. Again, we're just trying to stylize and create some different pieces. Blunder is a really difficult prompt, but I do love the complementary colors. Number 17 is Ornate. You can see the pencil lines. It was supposed to be a really really harsh line around the outside. Like, look at all of these pretty blooms. How do you just cover all of that up with a line? I couldn't, I left it. I had like yellows in mind for this prompt because it's like a clock. Yeah, the random colors were random. Number 18 is Deal. I really like this one. I think this one is cute. It might make a good sticker as well. I'm not sure actually because there's a lot of like white in between. It's a very simple design, just 3 playing cards with a bunch of vines all around them. The cards were wet individually, so that's why you can see that the ink is kind of stuck in the cards. It's not gone everywhere. And it's 2 different colors. I like the patterns. I like that the white is peeking through. The vines are a little bit crazy. It kind of worked. I like it. Number 19 is Arctic. This is a quick one. Didn't really work. It was negative space and the polar bear's paw was in the wrong place. And at that point I was like, well, what's the point? Without using a different medium. I don't have a white acrylic ink. I might need to get one. There's only so much you can do at that point. It's supposed to be like in a moon. Ah well, we gotta work quick. Number 20 is Rivals. This is one of my favorites. I love it. The way that we have all of these ink blooms on the background like this, and we also have ink blooms on the inside, but do you know how difficult it was to control it? To try and not have the eyes get filled with ink, to add dimension to the car, but try and keep those highlights. The same here as well, because this is all wet on wet. You can see a little bit where it seeps through, but I had to keep it just to the windows in certain areas. This was difficult. It's kind of silly, but I love it. You've got all of this going on. It looks like a proper piece, even though it's a silly idea. The eyes, I think this is my favorite bit. The fact that it bloomed, but you've still kind of got the shape. Really proud of this one. And with that, we're ending the 3rd week with Blast. A lovely colourful background with some dry brushing on top. I kind of figured that if you use watercolor ink and loads of different colours underneath, you can add line work on top and dry brush and do whatever you like, as long as it's acrylic ink and it kind of sits on top, it won't reactivate it. So we've got the edge of a volcano. I think possibly the dry brushing would have been better with a darker colour. It's lacking depth, but we got like green, orange and pink. We got some really weird colours that I wouldn't normally go for, and it's kind of cute, except I messed up here. You can kind of tell it was supposed to join up to the heart, because instead of lava coming out the volcano, it was like shapes. Silly idea. I think there was also supposed to be one here, but I accidentally covered that up too. You can see it kind of went wrong on that side. 22 is Button. We're starting the final week and a half now. I don't know what happened there. This is the watercolor ink. I only have one of these. It's by Dr. P.H. Martin's. It's kind of sitting on top. When the 2 colors went together, they kind of created green. Like, look at that. That is so strange. Of course, we had Button for Peachtober, so this is the 2nd Button this year. That's why I wanted to make this one a bit different. It's just a collar and a tie with some little rogue buttons on. It's a little bit more subtle, although the edge is a bit chaotic. Obviously, it was wet on wet. I don't know if there was a way to control it more. Because it's handmade paper, it just kind of does that. And I think that's a good example of the way that it spreads, because this is water with ink dropped on and it still looks like that, even though it was brushed in a line. Very weird. Next up is Firefly. This did not go to plan. The yellow just was not going bright enough. I think at this point, maybe neo colors. I've actually kind of done it before here, and the neo colors blend out like that. I was hoping the same would happen for Firefly and it didn't. The acrylic just looks like weird little bubbled blobs. I don't know. Rowdy is next, and I really like this one. Orange and pink is a really cute color palette. I've never used it before. The dog's mouth is not correct, which is really annoying. I think it needs to be further along. It needs to be smaller because it doesn't have like the flappy parts on top. Also, this little picture frame is so cute. Inferno is next, and because we've already done Blast, I thought we couldn't have 2 volcanoes. So we have a cute little dragon. Oh, I wonder if that bit there was supposed to continue here. It probably was, wasn't it? Dragons can look like anything. It doesn't look like most that you see. It looks like a little baby dragon, to be fair. These are weird as well, the little blobs of fire, but I kind of like the way it blends. The color palette is really weird because not only do you have the bright colors there, these almost clash because they're so different. Next up is puzzling. I've never drawn a puzzle before. So we've got a flower in a vase, lots of wet on wet, lots of blooms. I felt like it didn't really need to be in focus because the focus is the puzzle pieces. The colors are so weird. These are random colors again. They're so strange. And with that, we're on to onion. I made a piece for Peachtober last time that I love. This is radish. I really like it. So I was thinking we could do similar with the onion with inks first and it's just not the same. I think because these are flat colours, it just looks a lot better. This ink didn't separate very well, so you can see there's kind of like a harsh line around the outside. I'm not really sure what happened there. 28. Oh, this is skeletal. This one was created in one layer, wet the entire thing and gradually added other colours. I actually love it. Unfortunately, it's kind of in the wrong place. It's not central, but it's okay, we'll ignore that. I don't know if it would make a good sticker. If it was cut around the outside, would it be a good sticker? Or would it look blurry? Because obviously it looks blurry now. It was very difficult to control because if you add the colour too soon, it's just going to blend everywhere. But if you add it too late, the line's going to be harsh because it's going to have dried. You can see this part here had dried, but this orange here spread like crazy. This is kind of what I wanted to do for Marky, but it didn't work. 29 is lesson. We have a little lo-fi classroom. Got the colours. Yeah, that's it pretty much. The combination of blooms with some line work with the dry brushing I really like because it's not like it's just coloured in. You can still see what's underneath. Almost there. 30 is vacant. Again, I was trying the one layer thing. So the first layer is a messy city and the second layer is splatters. If you're new to the channel, hi, welcome. I like splatters. I will add splatters to most pieces of art that I create. I just like having that messy look. There's a crossing, a road, all of the skyscrapers. It's a really odd one, this, because nothing is in focus. I don't know how I feel about it. With that, we're moving on to 31 award. This was not supposed to look like this. If you watched the prep video, you'll know that there was supposed to be like a flower up here. There was supposed to be something here and something here, like little ribbons. I'm gonna be honest. Firstly, I kind of forgot. And secondly, this was all supposed to be colored in and I just didn't have the heart to cover it up. Like, look at all of this. Really odd color palette. It's like a brown, green, and a pink. And that's it. That's all of Inktober and Peachtober for 2025. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hope you have a lovely day. Why don't you go make a cup of tea? And I'll see you back here in a few days' time.